Well, hello, everybody. It's Tim Wood. Another edition of Lowcountry Chronicle brought to you by our good friends at Buford Drug Company. The Dotson family over there on William Pope Drive, want to give them a huge shout out and thank you for being our title sponsor of Lowcountry Chronicle. Um, Exciting episode coming up. Let me just make sure this mic is on. No. All right. I think the mic there. Yeah, there's the microphone. Okay, we hear the microphone. So, exciting episode coming up. We're going to have an interview at the end with Doug and Parker Stewart. Parker, a lot of folks got to know Parker because of his karting skills. And now he is becoming a world renowned runner and triathlete, and he's not even close to puberty yet. So, huge shout out to Parker and everything that he's accomplished. I want to start this week. I had planned to come on earlier this week, and I won't lie to you. Just was not feeling being on camera because we had some tragedies happen over the weekend. And the first one being we lost an 8-year-old boy named Adam Meisner in a accident in the Woodbridge neighborhood in Bluffton. Really just awful in terms of I have two kids myself, two boys. I can't imagine anything worse in this life than dying before your kids. I don't mean to be overly dramatic, but it is absolutely unthinkable. So we send our condolences to the family. We send our condolences to the River Ridge community. Just so many awful. I shouldn't say awful. Okay, unbelievable in terms of the support for the family in the community. And I was just updating this. About $31,000 raised from the GoFundMe, which you can find by going to GoFundMe.com, searching for Adam Meisner, Meissner. Okay. Tiffany Washington, his aunt, is the organizer. I have been in contact with Tiffany. Just an absolute horrific event in our community. And as always, I can't say enough about the community and the way that folks have stepped up and supported the family. It's just, I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I wish I could be smooth and polished and actually I don't. That's not who I am. But this one hurts. Any death in our community hurts. We're about 16 days away from the 5th DJ's Day of Giving in honor of DJ Fields, who was shot to death execution style. Honestly, it's a driving and a shooting in 2021, and we're about to have the 5th DJ's Day of Giving to support the Live Like DJ Scholarship Fund, the Amazing Grace Fund, so many of these type trying to of these type of funds, trying to make something good out of tragedies. And I'm sure the Meisner family will do the same here. Again, over $31,000 raised so far. Keep it coming, folks. It's needed, and to get help this family get through their grief. I also want to send condolences to a gentleman who was killed in the parking lot at Tailgaters over the weekend, Jimmy. I just can't. I didn't know Jimmy, but a lot of my friends did, and I know this has been a very, very hard week because everything that I've seen about this man was that he was the light of so many people's lives and did so much good for so many people around here. And so we send condolences to those families as well. And I can tell you that there is a celebration of life for Adam Meisner this weekend. It is at Oscar Fraser Park. And hold on one second. Let me just pull this up. Celebration of life. There we go. Hold on. Okay, so it is Saturday the 8th, starting at 2 p.m. at Oscar Fraser Park. Celebrate Adam's beautiful life. If you can't make it to the service, please send prayers. So many of you have, so I don't even feel the need to have to say that, quite honestly. But I did. Okay, on to happier news. I want to congratulate first of all, I want to congratulate the Bluffton Middle School basketball teams, the girls team, the boys team. Both won the Beaufort County School District Middle School Championships in basketball. Big fan of the Mustangs, big fan of athletic director Dwan Fields. And now that season's over, I can tell you that Tony Bruin, who is the coach of the Mustangs, he actually reached out to me and wanted me to help coach before the season. And I was extremely honored and thought that I was going to be able to do it. And just between my surgery and life getting in the way, I had to say no. But I think Coach Bruin, Red, as so many of you know him, did just fine with help me winning the championship. So congratulations to Coach Bruin. Coach does so many great things for the youth in the community, whether it's at the Boys and Girls Club, spotlighting so many great athletes in the community, as the doing some color commentary for the Sand Sharks basketball games alongside Justin Jarrett. So congratulations to Coach Bruin. And congratulations to the Mustangs. I also want to send a huge congratulations to Coach Woody Melton. He is the Assistant Track Coach of the Year in Class 4A. And congratulations to him. Coach Woody has been a huge influence in my family's life as a guidance counselor over at Bluffton High School, and also as a coach in the community. So huge shout out to Woody. Let's see, what else do we have? Okay, so it's National Signing Day, the winter version, today actually. And yes, it was yesterday, but there are a lot of celebrations today. I want to highlight a few folks that are have committed. First of all, we'll start with May River. Aaron Guthrie is committed to play baseball at Columbia International University. Jackson McDonald, Spartanburg Methodist College on cross country and track. Bryson Hart going to Belmont Abbey College for lacrosse. Ansley Carr, Anderson University for cheer. Will Boswick, Hampton Sydney College for football. And Will Rowley, again, Belmont Abbey College for lacrosse. So congratulations to those athletes. There's more announcements to come as we get them. Listen, this isn't a sports show per se, but it's a good news show, and this is definitely good news. So as we get the announcements, we'll pass them on to you. Also want to send some shout outs to some football players over at Bluffton High School who have signed their letter of intent on National Signing Day. Sebastian Tollefson and Caleb Gatson. Now, I know the Tollefson family helped create the Bluffton Then and Now Facebook page with Paul Tollefson. Huge fan of all of Paul's work in the community. You can see it on Bluffton Then and Now, his Facebook group. You can also see some of his writings, his Spilling the Tea interviews. You can see them in the Bluffton Sun. So huge shout out to Sebastian Tollefson and Caleb Gadsden, who are headed to play football at Limestone University. They'll continue to be teammates there. So congratulations to those two. Gavin Carrick is going to Coastal Carolina as a long snapper. So huge congratulations to Gavin heading to Myrtle Beach. Ethan Cartmel is headed to Presbyterian. And Jaden Jeffries is headed to Erskine. So congratulations to those Bobcats. That's big news. As somebody who has coached youth for a long time and currently has a son playing basketball in high school, to see your kids achieve that dream, I send my most humble congratulations to those families, because between every great student athlete is a family that has made incredible sacrifices for them. So huge congratulations to all of those families for their children signing national letters of intent to play for those colleges. So I want to also a couple of plugs before we get going too far here. I have talked about this a little bit, but I want to show you this is the What's Happening in Bluffton coffee mug. It's 20 ounces. It's a big cup of coffee. And on the other side, it has this original logo. I'm in a Bluffton state of kind. So you can order it on lowcountrychronicle.com. I think with shipping all in, it's about $32. But again, it's a great coffee mug, and all of the proceeds go to help our efforts with the podcast, with all of the news gathering that we're trying to do with what's happening in Bluffton, and also in running a new effort that I wanted to kind of highlight today. We have started an events page, an events calendar that we will highlight on what's happening in Bluffton. But it's housed again on the Lowcountry Chronicle website, lowcountrychronicle.com/events. That's where you're going to see all the events from now on. We're not going to clutter the feed with all of the event posts anymore. We will be sending folks to make those posts to appear on the Lowcountry Chronicle events calendar. So check that out, lowcountrychronicle.com/events, and you will get hopefully, listen, we're just getting this going, but we have some help in gathering the events, which I'll talk more about on a future uh, episode. But if you're an organization, you can submit events there, and we're gonna do our best to cover the entire region if it's within driving distance of Bluffton and Hilton Head. So that means some Beaufort stuff, some Savannah stuff, uh, and uh, if there's a fun event, we'll have it posted there, or we're gonna do our best to have it posted there. Let's put it that way. And again, if you're an organization and you've got events that you want on the calendar, please go to lowcountrychronicle.com/events. Okay, so there's that. Um, I think that's it for the plugs today. I do want to point out a couple things that are more national, but I've heard a lot from local folks about. Um, the Super Bowl is a Sunday. Some folks have already posted some Super Bowl parties on the events calendar, so you can check out there if you want to go and watch with some friends or potential new friends. Uh, Super Bowl is a Sunday. Eagles and Chiefs. Personally, in terms of who I root for, I have no rooting interest, but I will tell you that I am rooting hard for the Eagles. That is the uh, team of the Fields family, and specifically of one DJ Fields. So I will be rooting hard for the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Um, Listen, I'm a Patriots fan. I've been there, folks. I understand the vitriol towards the Chiefs. I absorbed a lot of it. I was a long-suffering Patriots fan before they became a dynasty. So I understand the vitriol towards the Chiefs now. And but it would be cool to see history made. If I didn't have any sort of rooting interest here, I'd like to see history. But I love Saquon Barkley. I love Jason Kelsey, and I've loved all of his work post Eagles this year. And again, as I said, the Fields family are huge Eagles fans, and so I gotta think DJ's up in heaven right now trying to pull some strings, and I hope it comes to fruition. I hope for a great game, period. But I want to see the Eagles win. Tons of um, squares that I've been seeing. Listen, I'm just as guilty in terms of putting those square contests out. We're doing a fundraiser for our hoops travel team, the South Side Hustlers. So I love a good square contest as much as the next person. But above all, I just hope it's a good game. I mean, come on now. I I have a love-hate relationship with the Super Bowl, the playoffs in general, because I'm a huge fantasy football guy, and it just the playoffs, the Super Bowl signals the end of football, so it's kind of um, a sour note in some ways. But let's go out with a bang. Let's have a great game, and also just my history from my days with Bleacher Report. The Super Bowl was my busiest day of the year in terms of assigning articles as the managing editor for Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report. So a lot of that done from here in Bluffton, from our former home in Hidden Lakes. So it's nice to be a fan. It's nice to be a fan and not always looking for the story angles. And yeah, so I'm excited about the game and being a fan and rooting the Eagles on. So we shall see how that plays out. I do want to give you a couple of TV recommendations. I have come across the show Bookie on Max. Sebastian Maniscalco is absolutely brilliant. The entire cast. It's all about a bookie, which Sebastian plays, and his supporting cast is just outstanding. A lot of familiar faces, a lot of character actors you may not know their names, but you know their faces, including Hurley from Lost. He plays a good part in this, so highly recommend Bookie. Um, I would also say to you that let's see here, another show that um, I've really enjoyed is it's called Balin Out Loud. It's on TLC, and you can stream it on Max as well. Um, it's all about a 21-year-old woman, a woman with Tourette's, and Tourette's syndrome. It's kind of a joke to a lot of folks in terms of just the outbursts that Tourette's patients can have. You really see the human side behind it in this show, and funny, um, difficult. Just the You get all the ins and outs of this young woman trying to uh, live with a very, very severe diagnosis of Tourette's, tics, swearing, you name it. She's been very vocal on social media, which is and sharing her life. I suspect that's how TLC came to create the show, but it's really interesting. It's really heartwarming and heartfelt, and yeah, Bailing Out Loud is the name of that show on Max and TLC. Um, okay, so that is all I have on my list. Let me think here. Actually, let's see here. I do have some things in terms of I do want to send some birthday wishes, and I don't have the graphic up, which I should, but I don't. But I do want to send some birthday wishes to some members. We're going to go back a little bit here because we haven't been on for a little bit, but I do want to send some birthday wishes to Ashley Keats, to Lauren Page Alston, and to Kevin Howard. Their birthday is today, February 6th. Julie Johnson's birthday was on February 5th. These are all members of What's Happening in Bluffton that have joined and shared what their birthdays are, so we can give them a shout out. February 4th, Lindsay Moon, Robert Wolf, Suzanne Anderson Culp. Happy birthday, Suzanne. Suzanne donated a wonderful bag to our 25 Days of Giving giveaway over the holiday. Darla Yavich, Lola Green, and Leslie Turner. Those are all birthdays on February 4th. February 3rd, Cheryl Dooland, Jenna Nowitzki, and Maggie Drensfeld. Happy birthday to you guys as well. February 2nd, Gabby Wumlinger and Donna Gingrich Jones on February 2nd. Happy birthday to you all. To y'all. You all. Oh my goodness. Did I just I just said, yeah, I did. I just said that. You all. Y'all. Emma May Hamilton, February 1st. Happy birthday to Emma. Let's go back a little bit here. January 31st, Roger Lidgren, Eileen Goldberg, Rich Walls, Anthony Russo, and Christine Miller. January 31st. And then January 30th, Isabel Brogdon, Hunter Peterson, Missy Lavery, Danielle Paganos, Rico Perez, and Taylor Rose. Happy birthday to this group as well. Those are our birthday wishes. And again, if you have somebody that you want to shout out for their birthday and anniversary, just let me know. DM me on Facebook, on Messenger, and we will get those shout outs. We'll get those shout outs out there. A couple folks have already chimed in on DMs about my new background. It's a work in progress. We changed up the feng shui in my office. Got a new bookshelf that has a bunch of stuff. I'll go through all the stuff on another broadcast, but yeah, that's gonna be a place to showcase some cool Bluffton stuff. Um, just some of my knickknacks and favorite artists and favorite books, and so yeah, new background there. You see the Jim Rice 14. Let me tilt this a little bit so you can see that Jim Rice 14. Yeah, that's my sports hero, Jim Rice. So um, everywhere I go, I kind of have a shrine to Jim Rice, and you can see up there, right there. There's a Jim Rice cup, which I'll put into focus a little bit better in the future. Um, and I just knocked this out of focus. Good job, Tim. Okay, I also have something that my wife got me. It's a little plaque that says "Every day is a good day to have a good day," which is kind of how I roll. So I'll send that out to you guys. Every day is a good day to have a good day. Uh, what else can I tell you? Okay, so those are our birthdays. I also want to send some shout outs to some new members of our What's Happening in Bluffton community. Now, listen, the group is named What's Happening in Bluffton, all right? But it's full of everyone from the Low Country, Hardyville, Beaufort, uh, all over the place. So, want to send some shout outs to some new members. Um, let's see. All right, let's see here. I want to send a shout out to Jessie Lynn Patillo. Lives very close to Bluffton and loves the town. Diane Evans Grinovich owns a home in Sun City. Welcome to Diane. Nathan Zikla moved here, and sorry if I'm butchering the name, Nathan. He moved here in January to work at Palmetto Electric. Welcome to you. Jeff Rigg, Ashton D. Fiore, raised here, live here. Bluffton is my home. Welcome to Ashton. Ari Blooms, Courtney Bochis. She says my bonus parents live here and I visit several times a year, hoping to relocate in the spring. Well, we hope to have you, Courtney, but we appreciate having you in the What's Happening in Bluffton group. Holly Panther, Bluffton resident. Leslie Turner. She said she attends Lowcountry Community Church and belongs to Hampton Hall Club. So congratulations. Welcome to Leslie. Adam Love has been here since 1983, so we're thrilled to have Adam. Listen, we got a lot of new folks in the community that are on this group and look here for events and stuff, but I'm really proud that we've got a lot of longtime folks that have started to sign up as well, and Adam's certainly among that group, so really appreciate you joining the group, Adam. Kelly Nussbaum, she recently moved to Savannah, is looking to make more connections, including here in the Low Country. Joni Young Pfeiffer, Pat Ganter lives in Hardyville. Welcome to you guys. Sandra Clark, Christina Zona Simons, and let's see here. Tracy Wright Went. Tracy, she says, my son and family live in Bluffton. My parents live in Hilton Head. We have a second home in Ridgeland. I'm thinking that Tracy might be related to Josh Went, who is the owner and operator of Zero Dark Gaming that recently opened. They are a partner of What's Happening in Bluffton. We do want to send a shout out to them. Thank them for their support. We support what they're doing. We've needed something like this for both youth and adults, quite honestly, in terms of having a place to go and socialize while you're gaming. So Huge shout out to them, and to all those folks. Thank you for joining the group. I hope that you become active members and commenting and I don't know, spreading the good word in terms of why we love living here in the Low Country. Do want a quick shout out if you're listening to this in the next couple days. Josh is having a Super Bowl party over at Zero Gaming and Zero Dark Gaming, and so that is on Sunday. Obviously, they're also having a Madden 25 tournament there. So if you fashion yourself any kind of sports gamer in terms of Madden 25, head over to Zero Dark. Head over to their Facebook page for more details. But yeah, that's going to be a very cool event. Brendan Downey's chimed in on the comments as we broadcast this live. He says, "Hey there, bud. Hello there to you, Mr. Downey." I know Brendan was a very good friend of Jimmy, and we send condolences out to all of the folks that Jimmy touched in the community. I cannot even begin to wrap my arms around in terms of now. I fashioned Brendan the unofficial mayor of Bluffton. He's very social, and again the owner of Kick Fees. But Brendan, I know, was very close with Jimmy, as so many folks have chimed in and sent just wonderful messages out there about Jimmy in the community. So, yeah, our thoughts and love and hugs go out to all of you that are grieving this week. What else do I have for you? I was gonna check up on that Madden tournament over. Let me just get that info for you real quick. Yeah, Zero Dark Gaming, 6 p.m. The Madden Xbox tournament on Sunday, February 9th. $10 per person to join the tournament. And Zero Dark's over 30 Malthus Road, Suite 105 in Bluffton. It's in the Michael's PetSmart Plaza over that way. And that's going to be a good time. So I hope you'll check that out. Let's see here. Okay. Let me just see. Do I have any other things to share with you at this point? No, I think that's going to bring you up to date. Other than to tell you, please check out this week's episode of the Indulgent Islander podcast, a foodie podcast I do with the Indulgent Islander himself, Nick DeSimone. You can find that on wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And let's see here. Get some information on our podcasts. Let's do. Here we go. Where is it? Okay, there we go. There's our podcast information. You can listen and subscribe to Lowcountry Chronicle wherever you find your favorite podcasts. iHeart Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. We're everywhere. I hope you will subscribe. And I hope you'll give the podcast a listen. Listen, our goal here is to inform in terms of good things that are going on in the Low Country. Talk about some I won't say controversial, but more, I don't know. I won't say political either, but anything that impacts us here in the Low Country, we'll talk about. So I hope you'll check out the podcast, subscribe, give it a listen. Let me know what you think. Tell me what kind of guests that you want to listen to. So far we've run interviews with Annalore Harold, which was just a joy to be able to share that interview with you. And again, cannot say it enough. Please go out and get this book, etc., y'all. It is a collection of Anna Lord's newspaper columns. Um, we're gonna give some away here on Lowcountry Chronicle and on what's happening in Bluffton. I also will tell you what I didn't tell you before on terms of this cup. Um, we're gonna start a Lowcountry Chronicle What's Happening in Bluffton coffee club. Okay, so and I'll do separate coffee club broadcasts, but the members of the coffee club are gonna get special deals, discounts, and again, every time you buy one of these mugs, you're supporting what we do here on Lowcountry Chronicle, what's happening in Bluffton. And anybody who buys this is automatically part of the coffee club. I also will say that we're going to have a contest here over the next month, and I'll talk more about it on the next show. But um, anybody who buys a mug here over the next month at lowcountrychronicle.com is going to be eligible to win a $250 Visa gift card. Okay, so please buy the mug, 20-ounce mug. It's phenomenal in terms of drinking and a lot of Java or whatever you want to put in here. It's very sizable. And again, these I'm in a Bluffton State of Mind logo, original logo by yours truly in the back, on the back of the cup. So please check that out and buy the mug at lowcountrychronicle.com. We've also got some links up on the What's Happening in Bluffton page, but you buy it, you're going to qualify to be part of our coffee club where you're going to get all sorts of great discounts and deals throughout the year. Plus, you'll also be eligible, if you buy this over the next month, you'll be eligible for to win a $250 Visa gift card. So please buy that now. All right, so let's get into today's interview. Hopefully, yeah, this is going to stretch it. Now, again, the way that we're going to break up the podcast, okay? The first part is going to be all kinds of news and me talking, which, by the way, I'm still getting used to. I don't love talking by myself to the camera. I much prefer to have some interaction. So whenever I can bring people on here, even during the upfront portion of what's just kind of the update of what's going on around the community, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring people on because I don't love talking. I don't feel like y'all want to hear me talking for all this time. I shouldn't even say I don't like talking. I've been doing media all my life. It's just uh, I'm still kind of coming to grips with just staring in the camera or talking into this mic, just out into the void. I'm much more comfortable when I'm seeing instant reaction. That's why I always loved writing for newspapers. It's why I love doing the live broadcast for the 25 days of giving. I can see y'all in there right away. So I hope you're finding this entertaining, informative so far. That's the goal. We're going to do a lot of fun things on the show throughout the year. So we're still trying to figure out frequency. I can guarantee it will be at least once a week. My hope is to do it more. Okay. First of all, I want to give Bluffton Drug Company as much exposure as possible. And by the way, I want to put it out there. Bluffton Drug Company, if you live in the Lyon Station, Cypress Ridge, New Riverside, let's see what else. Seagrass Station, Malin Bluff, Hampton Lake, Baynard Park, anything on the 170 corridor where they would be your closest pharmacy. Cannot recommend them enough. Not just because they're a sponsor of the show. They became a sponsor of the show because I love what they do. I love everything about Buford Drug Company. Their customer service is amazing. Um, it's the kind of service you don't get at the chains, and that's no disparagement toward anybody that works at CVS or Walgreens, but it's a family pharmacy. You get service that you just remind you of, I don't know, of what customer service is supposed to be. Plus, it's very nostalgic there. I won't lie to you. There's a soda fountain where you sit at the counter and you can have ice cream, you can have sundaes, you can have hot dogs, you can have their lunch specials. It's phenomenal. So he, check out Buford Drug Company, and if you're in any of those communities and you want to switch over your prescriptions, okay, uh, we're running a special right now along with Buford Drug Company. You're going to get a free shake. First of all, you get a free ice cream shake. You'll get a free lunch from them. Uh, if you mention, Lowcountry Chronicle, what's happening in Bluffton, that's the special they're running right now. Because there was a huge push when they first opened. A lot of folks still don't know about them, and that's kind of our goal here, is to let you know Buford Drug Company, right across from Oakity Ale House on William Pope Drive, in Oakity Center, in technically still in Bluffton. So check them out. Shout out from Paul Tullison, which is awesome. I mentioned Paul earlier in the broadcast. We mentioned Sebastian. Um, Cannot say enough good things about the work that Paul does on every aspect of Bluffton history. He loves Bluffton history. He loves Bluffton in general, but he's a history buff, and he's really taken to sharing a lot of aspects of Bluffton history. He's even started doing speeches and seminars around the area on the history, which is an amazing thing to go to in and of itself. But can't implore you enough. Check out the Bluffton Then and Now page. We share a lot of the posts on what's happening in Bluffton, but the work that Paul's doing is phenomenal there. So check it out. Okay, let's get today's interview. Okay, as I mentioned up front, it is with we recently sat down and talked to Doug and Parker Stewart. Now, Parker is a young athlete who is just absolutely lighting the athletic community on fire. And first, it was with karting, as early as 3 years old, and now he is getting closer and closer to double digits in terms of age, and he's setting state world records in running now. And so I just kind of wanted to get behind, like, what makes this kid tick, what makes this family run. Um, Phenomenal what he's been doing. So we're really excited to share that with you. Here's our interview with Doug and Parker Stewart here on Lowcountry Chronicle. Hey, it's Tim Wood here with another Lowcountry Chronicle interview. So excited to have Doug and Parker Stewart with us this morning. Guys, welcome. So really appreciate you joining us.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
So, okay, let's get into this. Now, Parker Parker is I first got to know, and a lot of folks around Bluffton and the Low Country got to know Parker from go-kart racing and the things that he was doing on a go-kart track. And hey, it's Tim Wood here with another Low Country Chronicle.
If I was getting ready for a race, he saw me in the simulator. He saw me studying videos. He saw me at the racetrack and late nights in the shop getting the car ready. Like, he sees that if you want good results, you have to prepare for it. You don't just show up on a race day and expect to be great.
Yeah, I mean, my son's very competitive with basketball, and it's always been the same mantra. It's when
You know,
it's when nobody's watching, when you're
exactly.
putting in the work. and that's when it pays off, right?
That's right. Yeah, and I think a lot of kids fail to see that. You know,
Especially,
everybody, they want to do well. They want to play sports. They want to do these things, but they want to show up on game day and give it their all, and then get upset if they don't do as well as they'd hoped. So for a child that young to see that value and consistency is pretty special, and the results show themselves.
I don't mean to, be the back in our day guy, but I mean, I feel like it's even more impressive in this day and age where a lot of the up and coming generations have this entitlement, like it's just going to happen. Like I can become a YouTube or TikTok
Right.
star and make millions of dollars on streams, and it's just gonna happen, regardless of whether I put in the work or not. And so to see this, Parker, you got the example from your dad, but what made you want to strive for this greatness on the car track, and then now, with the running and triathlons, what made you want to put in this work?
I think that I just when I got started, it just was fun to run. Like that's all I wanted to do. And I just I like the pain.
Did you say you like the pain?
Yeah,
And it wasn't enough pain inside the car. The you know all you have to go through inside the car. You wanted more pain.
yeah.
Okay, so you basically picked the the what any athlete will say is the most pain intensive form of competition, triathlons. And I mean, running, there's enough pain there. And um how and you've picked, you're in sports that are, you've got coaches, you got people around you, but this is highly individual. This is not basketball, this is not football, baseball. I mean, what makes you be able to drive yourself through all the training?
Um,
Look at me. You answer it.
uh,
What's fun
Personally,
about it?
I'll answer this, and I don't know what your answer is, but like if I'm getting ready for a show and I know I'm going to be on stage in front of hundreds or thousands of people, basically in my underwear, competing next to a guy who probably didn't skip the gym that day. I'm not skipping the gym. So just part of my drive to compete well was during training was that fear of not winning. Whereas I don't think yours is. I think well, I'll let you answer it.
yeah, I do. Really don't want to skip days. Like I know everybody in triathlons that I'm competing against. I know that they're not going to skip days. And I can't do it.
And you've had some failures, right? And we at Parker.
Hey, it's Tim Wood here with another Lowcountry Chronicle interview. So excited to have Doug and Parker Stewart with us this morning. Guys, welcome. So, really appreciate you joining us.
Thanks. Happy to be here.
So, okay, let's get into this. Now, Parker Parker is I first got to know, and a lot of folks around Bluffton and the Low Country got to know Parker from go kart racing and the things that he was doing on a go kart track. And listen, you
Yeah,
talk about go kart tracks, you're thinking like, even if we're thinking K1 or Indy racing, this just another level. This is world class racing, and
right.
Parker made an immediate impact there. Now he's doing stuff on other tracks, and so we'll get into that. Parker, you are a state champion, you are a world champion already in running, and how long ago did you take up competitive running?
Competitive running, like seven.
Six was your first local 5K.
I think 7 is when I started to know that we were fast and we were going for state records.
Yeah, seven. Seven is when we took it to the next level and started attacking all of the current state records, and he got everyone that he tried.
Wow. Um, Doug, this competitive spirit begins with you. You were competitive on the car track. Tell us a little bit about that in terms of how you got into racing.
Yeah, so I've been I come from a racing background. My father raced. I continued in his footsteps, and I found some success. I won a national championship at the amateur level. Um, I've done some races as a pro. Um, but as far as that competitive nature, my wife's also a professional bodybuilder, and as was I. I'm not doing that now, but Parker's grown up around seeing me competing on the racetrack, seeing mommy on stage competing for various titles, and seeing me and all the traveling that we did for that. I
And
think one
just
of the biggest things that sets. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I think one of the biggest things that sets Parker apart from other 9 year olds, even other talented 9 year olds like himself, is that he truly understands the value in consistency. Like if myself or his mom were getting ready for a show, I mean that was 4 months of intense preparation. If I was getting ready for a race, he saw me in the simulator. He saw me studying videos. He saw me at the racetrack and late nights in the shop getting the car ready. Like he sees that if you want good results, you have to prepare for it. You don't just show up on a race day and expect to be great.
Yeah, I mean, my son's very competitive with basketball, and it's always been the same mantra. It's when
Yeah,
it's when nobody's watching, when you're
exactly.
putting in the work, and that's when it pays off, right?
That's right. Yeah, and I think a lot of kids fail to see that. They
Especially,
everybody they want to do well. They want to play sports. They want to do these things, but they want to show up on game day and give it their all, and then get upset if they don't do as well as they'd hoped. So for a child that young to see that value and consistency is pretty special, and the results show themselves.
I don't mean to, be the back in our day guy, but I mean, I feel like it's even more impressive in this day and age where a lot of the up and coming generations have this entitlement like it's just going to happen. Like I can become a YouTube or TikTok
Right.
star and make millions of dollars on streams and it's just gonna happen, regardless of whether I put in the work or not. And so to see this, Parker, you got the example from your dad, but what made you want to strive for this greatness on the car track and then now with the running and triathlons, what made you want to put in this work?
I think that I just when I got started, it just was fun to run. Like that's all I wanted to do. And I just I like the paint.
Did you say you like the pain?
Yeah.
And it wasn't enough pain inside the car. The you know, all you have to go through inside the car. You wanted more pain.
Yeah.
Okay, so you basically picked the the what any athlete will say is the most pain intensive form of competition, triathlons, and I mean, running, there's enough pain there. And um how and you've picked, you're in sports that are, you've got coaches, you got people around you, but this is highly individual. This is not basketball, this is not football, baseball. I mean, uh, what makes you be able to drive yourself through all the training?
Um.
Look at me. You answer it.
Uh,
What's fun
Personally,
about it?
I'll answer this, and I don't know what your answer is, but like if I'm getting ready for a show and I know I'm going to be on stage in front of hundreds or thousands of people, basically in my underwear, competing next to a guy who probably didn't skip the gym that day. I'm not skipping the gym. So just part of my drive to compete well was during training was that fear of not winning. Whereas I don't think yours is. I think well, I'll let you answer it.
yeah, I do. Really don't want to skip days. Like, I know everybody in triathlons that I'm competing against, I know that they're not going to skip days. And I can't do.
And you've had some failures, right? And we Parker and I have talked about this after he's had a not so great race or maybe a race that he didn't win. That's an awful feeling. Thinking that maybe I could have done more, maybe I shouldn't have skipped the pool that day, or maybe I shouldn't have been so lazy in the gym. And I think Parker thinks about that stuff. And lately, we haven't had any bad races.
When did you start thinking about records, Parker? Was it like the first time you started training in terms of the running, or did you start to see, once you got in these races, that you were faster than a lot of these kids, let alone the adults? I mean, did that start to drive you towards wanting to set records?
Yeah, I just, when I started running and I knew that I was fast, I was like, I think I can get state records and maybe a couple world records. And just, I pushed and I got there.
Yeah, it is. It is a nice little incentive to find that extra push when you need it. He does enjoy collecting these records. I think he has 8 state records right now, and hopefully another one next week in the 10K, and now one world record.
What's coming up next week?
So there's the Chili Bean 5K in Buford. It's a 5K 10K, and Parker, he currently holds the state record for the 10K for 9-year-olds, but he had a really, really bad race that day. His last 2 miles or so of that race were pretty weak. He was a little bit dehydrated, and he knows he could have been faster. He still broke the state record that day, but he knows that he can break it by more.
You saw your dad growing up in the cars, Parker. What was it like the first time you actually got in a competitive go-kart? And I mean, what was the feeling like for you?
Fun.
That's all you got? Come on. We have pictures from that day. Remember we went to Jacksonville and put you in the go. Actually, the first time he was ever in the go kart, we were just doing stuff in the driveway so he could understand which pedal does
Steering
what.
around cones and stuff.
And we started
Yep.
taking him to the racetrack to practice. But yeah, I think that was an instant addiction for him. It's in his blood. Grandpa raced, dad raced. He didn't have a choice.
What is the coolest part on the kart track for you? Is it the cornering? Is it the passing? Is it what is what gets your blood pumping the most on the kart track?
Racecraft when I'm like blocking and trying to set up a pass. Like,
Yeah,
Absolutely.
the racecraft is
it's definitely
racing's a lot more than just going as fast as you can around the corners. There's a lot happening on track, and with all the other people around you, and racecraft is something, especially at this age, that we're really starting to hone in on. And we know he can do fast laps. We know he can qualify well, but it takes more than that to win races.
I mean, I don't mean to drive home this point too much, but it can't really be said enough. I mean, kids your age are you're talking racecraft. Kids your age are trying to master Minecraft right now, and you're it's
Do you know what that
you're
is?
do you play Minecraft at all? Is there any time for that? No, okay. um, in turn, where did the where did the training for running start?
um John. Yeah, we started running on the parkway.
So John Duberly is a close family friend, has been for over a decade. Um, and John actually lives with us in our home. And he is, world class triathlete and avid runner. And Parker has grown up around John, like 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 an uncle. And he sees John running and training and cycling and swimming, and ever since he was little, and he just wanted to be a part of it. He likes to run. It makes him happy, and he started going to John runs a free run club on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and Parker asked if he could go when he was 6. And it's not really for kids. I mean, it's open to anybody who wants to go, but they run as a group. They run down the parkway, and um, it's mostly adults. You might get some high school kids in there or something, but we let Parker go at 6, and he fell in love with it. I mean, unless we're out of town at a race, he doesn't miss a Tuesday or a Thursday running with John.
What is the schedule like? What is the rate like between I mean, you're juggling. It's not just like you're in kart season and then you're in
Right.
running season or you're in triathlon season. They're all mixed up. So, what is that schedule like for you guys?
Our schedule's wild. So yeah, training that we don't have seasons. Training for, especially for triathlons, that doesn't stop. Um, you know, he we try to limit his running because that is the sport with the most impact over swimming and cycling. Um, I did speak to our doctor about it, his pediatrician, as well as an orthopedic surgeon, because it concerns me. I mean, if my 7-year-old kid's running 30 miles a week, I feel like that's going to cause knee problems, joint problems, and stress fractures. And it just sounds bad
When
for a kid to
everything's
be.
still growing, right? Yeah, I mean,
Right, right,
yeah.
and that concerns me. I like that he runs and he's healthy, but longevity is a focus. We want him to be. We're not trying to build a fast 9-year-old. We're trying to build a fast athlete who has a long life in the sport. So after talking to the doctors, actually, contrary to what a lot of people, particularly on social media, like to say, it's really a non-issue. But as long as he recovers properly and he's not overtraining, so we limit his running to only 2 days a week. He only runs at Run Club on Tuesdays and Thursdays, unless we're traveling, which we do very often, because the karting races, our closest kart track to home is 3 hours away. So whenever we go karting, we're going overnight. We stay in an RV. So
Wow.
while we are traveling for karting, he wakes up earlier than everybody else, and he goes out onto the racetrack and he runs laps before the racing day gets started. So that's how he gets his training in while we're traveling. When we are home, he swims 5 days a week. He goes to the pool in either Bluffton or Hilton Head with John. usually midday. And you say he rides on the trainer maybe what, 3 or 4 days a week, about 20 miles or so, 10 to 20 miles, depending on what he's doing.
Cycling
Uh,
or
Cycling, yeah.
yeah.
So swimming, I'd say he swims like 1,500 to 2,000 meters a day.
I counted in yards, but something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of swimming, biking, running while we're home. So like I said, we often travel. I think last year we were probably on the road more than we were at home. So we sometimes bring his bike on the trainer in the RV, and he can still ride. He does his running on the racetrack rather than at run club, and then swimming. That's tough because a lot of places, public pools, lap pools, won't allow him because of his age.
What Parker? What's do you like being at home more, or do you like being in the RV more?
Um, that's kind of tough.
You don't have a favorite?
Um, I can train more when I'm at home because I'm able to swim and I can ride on the trainer and stuff.
Yeah.
When I can really only do like a body weight gym workout and run.
Yeah. Oh, I totally skipped that part. He also goes to the gym 5 days a week, 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, strength training is big for his coach John. So back to the comment I made about longevity and making sure that he stays healthy and can compete for a long time. A huge part of that is strength training. There's a lot of runners out there that just run, 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 and that's all they do. And they're normally plagued with injuries and setbacks, and they never reach their full potential. Um, Whereas John's really focused on Parker's strength training in the gym, and he's been injury free, knock on wood, thus far.
Now, does Parker, do you homeschool or do you go to regular school?
I'm homeschooled.
Homeschooled, okay.
Yeah,
Um,
a few years ago, we had to pull him out of school because we were traveling a lot for karting, and apparently in the public school system, if you miss more than 9 days in a row, um, they unenroll you.
yes.
Uh, and we were threatened of that numerous times. The public school system wasn't, they weren't as cooperative as I'd hoped in situations where we missed school. Like they wouldn't send us work for him to do. They just told us he'd have to make up for it when he came back. And um, he's a smart kid and his grades were good, but he did miss a lot of school. And between my wife and I, we decided that homeschooling was a better option for various reasons. We actually pulled both of our kids out of school, and my daughter hated it. She's a social butterfly.
She's a
She needs to be
social,
around,
yeah.
she needs to be around her friends, and so she's back in school now. My daughter does go to regular school, but Parker can't do what he does and with the time commitment of traditional school.
It's very frustrating. I mean, just even for us with travel basketball, for instance. But I have friends who are in acting and um, do a lot of do a lot of different things on sets, and you would think that they would accommodate um, kids that are excelling, and they just aren't built for that in terms of the rigidity of the rules. And so that,
Yeah, I think it varies too, depending on your location, because
yeah,
as we travel the country for these national kart races, we meet a lot of people. Parker has friends all over the United States, and that's
sure.
a topic of conversation between the parents and the kids as well. And we do talk about that stuff. And we have friends who go to public and private schools, and they're proud of what these kids are accomplishing. I mean, like you said, they're not going to K1 and renting a go-kart, driving around and having fun. Like these kids study the craft. I mean, they practice multiple days a week, and they're competing at the highest level. And there's a lot of value in it, and it's building these kids and young men, and there's a lot more to it than just going out and having fun. And I think some of these schools recognize that, and they applaud it, and they support it, and they allow them those opportunities. Whereas for us, they just didn't.
Yeah. Parker, what do you enjoy more? Do you enjoy the kart track more, or do you enjoy the
Oh, this
running more,
question.
the triathletes? Do you have one thing you enjoy more than the other right now? Does it kind of go back
I
and forth?
think it kind of goes back and forth a lot.
I've been asking him this question for years. He plays football too. Um, about a year or so ago, I started when I realized that Parker's competing at a national level in karting, triathlon, running, some of those on a world scale. I had some conversations with him, and I said, "Hey, if you really want to take one of these endeavors to the next level and want to be truly great, I feel like you're going to have to focus on one. You can't just go do everything and be world class at all of it. I thought that he should focus on something and pursue that. So I've always asked him if you were to pick, I'm not asking you to pick, but if you were to pick right now, pick one sport. And he's never once given me an answer. He can't. He doesn't want to
Just
stop
dodges
karting.
it.
He's never given anyone an answer. And I laughed when you started to ask this question because I asked him, his mom asked him, everybody asks
You're
him this
curious if
question.
you get a
He has
different answer from a
never
different person,
provided
right?
an answer. Now that said, after my thought was that he is going to have to narrow it down and choose something. Um, Parker is actually working with a new coach now as well, not to replace John, but in addition to John. And his new coach is out in Arizona, and this is a topic of conversation that came up while we were when we first met. And he said the opposite. He said, at this age, I don't want him to specialize in anything. Kids will get burned out. It can lead to injuries, and he had a long list of reasons. But he said at 9 years old, he said, I don't want him to specialize. He said, sign him back up for football because we had pulled him out. And he said, not only do I want him to continue triathlon, gym, karting, and everything else that he's doing, I want you to add Xterra to the list. So we just bought Parker. Xterra is triathlon, but it's trail running and mountain biking rather than road racing. So we just bought Parker a mountain bike, and we're training off road now. He's going to actually compete for a national title in May. In Alabama, he's going to compete for a national championship
Mountain biking or
in Xterra. So it's a triathlon, but with mountain biking and trail running.
okay. So yeah, what is the tri breakdown there? Trail running, uh, mountain biking, and then what's the third?
Swimming. It's still
Swimming.
swimming.
Okay. Yep.
Open water swimming. Yeah.
Gotcha. I've been coaching for various sports for 30 years now, and yeah, I've always said early on, play as many sports as you can. Find, you know, test out different things, and it, as an athlete, it's great to be training different muscle sets too,
Yeah.
and mindsets in terms of learning the sports. But eventually, yeah, if you do have those aspirations, right? But I mean, you're a touchdown away from that pretty much. You're or at least a field goal away from
Well, I
from
know. I know. Parker won't answer the question. What's his favorite sport if he had to pick one? But when he was 6 years old, he decided that he wanted to win an Olympic gold medal. And that's something that's always been on his mind. And, he's not running around saying, I want to be F1 world champion. You know, he's running around saying, I want to win an Olympic gold medal." So that's that says a lot to me. And as his dad, it's you know, I don't train him; he has coaches for that. But it's my job to one, make sure he's healthy and happy, obviously, but also provide these opportunities for him. Like, take him to these races, make sure that he's going to the right races, not just local 5Ks where you know it's going to be easier for him to win, but taking him to compete against you know some of the best that we can. That's how we get better. We do the same thing in karting. When we won everything locally, we went national. Um, and when I had mentioned his new coach that we're going to be working with, actually starting next month. Um, his name is Parker Spencer, and he's the head coach of Project Podium. Project Podium is an organization that was developed by USA Triathlon to help strengthen our Olympic team. So Parker Spencer is our Olympic head coach. He coaches 18-year-old and up Olympic athletes, and as well as 9-year-old Parker. So from a standpoint where it's my job to provide these opportunities, I've always struggled with, well, how am I ever, if he continues this progression and stays as good as he is, one day he might be good enough to be considered for the U.S. Olympic team. You know, he might actually achieve his dream, as far fetched as it sounds. But how am I going to put him in front of the right people to make sure that he does get noticed? And he's already there, and it wasn't because of me. He put himself there.
Yeah.
His publicity on social media has led to various relationships, and that being one of them.
Yeah, I mean you you already got 11,500 followers on Instagram alone.
It's
That's
five times as many as me.
that's pretty impressive. Yeah, I mean it's um in terms, like I started seeing you when I think I saw an article in CH2 or one of the local magazines, and I saw you in South Magazine. I've been tracking you all throughout, and I think the thing, especially with the running, that cracks me up is when you're at the start line and you've got all these adults looking at you like, what is this kid? Why is he here? Like, why is
Yeah,
he at the front of the line? Like, and then all of a sudden, the look just when you burst out of out of the gates. I mean, you kind of like. There's times where I'll like freeze frame in on some of the looks on these guys' faces. It's like
yeah, it's true.
what is this?
And I think he probably annoys some people because you know the front line at the start of a race is kind of reserved
Yeah, it's
for the really
sacred.
competitive ones, the guys who
Yeah.
want to win, the girls who want to
Yep.
win. And I think people probably get annoyed seeing a little boy up there until the race gets started and they realize.
Parker, what do you do to get away from the training? What do you do for fun to get away from the training a little when you have some downtime?
Uh, the football in the yard, and I don't do much of that.
He doesn't do a lot other than train. And when he isn't training, he, like you said, he likes to play football in the yard or go ride his bike. He takes a break from riding his bike to go ride his bike.
um, Social media is awesome for building. The good parts of it are awesome in terms of the building the relationships and getting your name out there, getting the accomplishments out there. Doug, how do you manage it from I mean, you mentioned it earlier in terms of backlash or people questioning like he's so young, like why is he pushing so hard? I I'll be honest, I stopped looking at your posts for a little bit because I found myself getting so annoyed and I didn't want to drop f bombs or anything, like, um, from
Yeah,
the people
yeah,
that were just taking a positive and turning it into a negative. I mean, how do you and your wife manage that aspect of it?
So the social media for me, I never intended to create an Instagram account for him for anyone other than him. Actually, at the beginning, nobody could even view it. I was just using it as cloud storage, basically, to archive these
For
moments.
memories.
You know, right. This was your
Yeah.
first go-kart race. This was your first 5K. Just things that he could look back on in his own life and see and remember and be proud of. Well, that's the only reason I created it, and I had no intentions of using it for anything else. And so that friends and family that don't live near us, that don't get to see him all the time, could just stay up to speed and see what Parker's up to. Um, I never thought that it would turn into what it has. Especially I think he has over 3 million views in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It's been very, very popular, and with that, 99.9% of those people are very supportive and
Yep.
proud and have nice things to say. And then there's the 0.1%, uh, or 0.01%, and not many of them, but they're there,
They
and
think they're loud, but they're
it's
really a very small percentage. Yeah.
it's wild to see what how bold some people can be when they're protected by
Keyboard warriors.
keyboard things that they can say about a 9-year-old, and I don't it doesn't bother me. And I Parker doesn't have a phone. He doesn't have Instagram. When these people are making these comments, they're making it to a 42-year-old man, not a 9-year-old boy. Um, I think a lot of parents might not show those things to their child because they're afraid of how it might make them feel. But I do. He sees them, and we laugh at them. We think they're funny. And if he continues where he's going and finds the success that he hopes for, there's going to be a whole lot more hate coming his way.
Yeah.
I mean, look at any professional athlete. I mean, there's people that don't like them. It's just part of it. So it's reassurance that he's
You hate
doing
me
great
because you hate
things.
me. That's basically what it is. You hate me because you hate me. You know,
Yeah,
and um, you
I try
are.
not to fight back. There are some times I really want to respond to some of
Yeah.
them, but and my wife and I have had this conversation. You're not going to change anybody's mind on how they feel about his accomplishment or him as a person or whatever it is negative that they're saying about him. You are not going to change those people. So if I say anything, it's usually thank you for your criticism. I try to not say much more than that and just ignore them. But the
Thank you for
funny
your
thing
input.
is, you should see Parker's fans go to bat for him.
Oh
Sometimes people will
yeah.
drop a comment and they will get slaughtered by the people that support him, and we love seeing that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've definitely, I don't want to focus on all the negative because I've definitely seen it turn. The
Yeah,
more support, the more followers that he's gotten, you see it turn very quickly, and those negative voices get drowned out very quickly, which is cool because this is a positive. This is a huge
right.
positive for the community, um, and it's awe inspiring. Parker, do you understand that? Do you understand the word inspiration at 9 years old? Do you understand in terms of inspiring so many, whether it's fellow kids or 51-year-olds like me? I mean, do you understand um, inspiring others at this point?
Um, understand. I
You know what it means when people say you're an inspiration or that you inspire them.
yeah, I know what it means. I can't like say it like what the definition is, but I
Yeah, you
I know
understand
what it
what it
means.
means. How does it make you feel?
It
What
makes
do
me
you?
feel good that I'm helping people.
Yeah.
It's got. I have to imagine it's nice You don't do it for the recognition, but you put so much work in. It's got to be nice
But
to get whatever form of recognition comes your way. It's got to uh, kind of back up all the work you've been putting in a little bit.
I agree, 100%. You know, like you said, he doesn't do it for the recognition, but
Yeah.
it does feel good.
What in turn? What is the okay, Parker? If I was going to ask you, we'll try this a different way, Doug. All right, we'll see if we can get an answer this way. Okay, all right, let's try it. 5 years from now, Parker, if I said you could be a national champion in one of the sports that you're doing, which one would you most like to do you most likely see yourself being a big thing in 5 years from now?
Triathlons.
Why is that? Is it just the you're enjoying it the most right now, or is that where you kind of uh see you being able to make the biggest impact?
It's where I see where I can think I can make the biggest impact.
Yeah, so in triathlon, um, Parker is not the current national champion. Um, and I don't want to sound arrogant, but I truly believe that to be because we didn't go. We had a karting race that day, and so we skipped the national championship race. But we went to a clash endurance triathlon in Daytona a few months after, and we competed. Now, at the national championship, you only compete against kids your age. So there's an 8, 9, 10, and 11-year-old national champion. At the race in Daytona, at the clash endurance race, Parker competed against all of them. And he beat the 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11-year-old national champions, all of them at 9. So I truly believe had we gone to that race, he would be. And that's probably, he's a great runner. He's a great cyclist. He's a mediocre swimmer. But when you mix them all together in triathlon, he's something else. I mean, this is why when he said he wanted to win an Olympic gold medal, and he intends to do that as a triathlete, not as a runner, which is part of the reason why we're so excited about this opportunity to work with Parker Spencer, who's arguably one of the best triathlon coaches in the world.
Absolutely. Um, I saw, and I was gonna put a video into this. Um, After I believe it was after you set the South Carolina record, you guys went to a was it a country concert?
No, it was a
After he set the world record, we went to the rodeo.
The rodeo. That's what it was. Okay, I saw the cowboy hat. Yeah, with the rodeo. Where was the rodeo? Was that the one in
It was
Savannah?
no in Charleston.
Charleston. Okay.
Yeah, it was a PBR bull riding rodeo. So
Nice.
yeah, that was
Okay,
cool.
so Parker, I saw the look on your face during it. You were having a lot of fun. Is there any part of you that looked at that and said, "Hey, I want to be a bull rider"?
I said that a few times.
He says that all the time. So I don't know if you know. I'm sure you've seen pictures of Parker on the podium, and every
Oh
single
yeah.
time he's wearing a Ceratelli cowboy hat.
Yep. Yep.
Um, he wears that everywhere we go. If we're driving 10 hours away and we drive 4 and realize he forgot that hat, we're turning around and going back for it. It's I don't know if it's good luck or he had a straw cowboy hat, and we drove to Daytona one time for a race and realized when we got there that he forgot it. And we ended up going to like a Western Outfitter type place, and that's where we found him, that Ceratelli. And he won that race. So he brings his cowboy hat everywhere, every race.
Why the cowboy hat, Parker?
Um,
Look at me,
I just,
just like it.
You kind of like the cowboy lifestyle, kind of like the look.
yeah.
Toughest dudes on the planet,
No
bull
doubt.
riders.
No doubt. I mean, there's no question. Um, okay. Uh, One thing that I think of because I'm a fan of it. When I look at all the different things that you're doing, um, have you ever watched American Ninja Warrior?
American Ninja Warrior, where they do the obstacles.
Um,
Remember?
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Doesn't watch a lot of TV.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say
just have it
maybe it's
myself.
better he doesn't because if he saw it,
But
he'd
no,
probably want to do it.
he's seen it. And we have a gym in Bluffton over by the movie theater. Remember? They have like a Ninja
The
Warrior
zone.
gym.
Yeah.
You went there for like Charlie's birthday party.
Yeah, yeah, he enjoys that stuff. Anything athletic.
Yeah, when I watch that, I'll every once in a while I'll be thinking, and they've had the kids editions before, but I don't even think he would need to be on the kids edition. I mean, the only thing that would probably limit him is the arm reach on some of the and getting some of the
Yeah,
obstacles, but um, I just um, do you feel this way, Doug? Do you feel like literally anything he's proven at this point, literally anything he wants to do, he's going to excel at?
absolutely. And him and I have had this conversation, and I'm not just talking about sports either. In whatever career he chooses, if he even chooses a career, relationships someday, I think he, I think he's going to excel at anything because he understands that it requires work. A successful marriage requires work. A successful career requires work. If you want to be an Olympic triathlete, that requires a lot of work, and it's a lot of unglamorous work when no one's watching. And once you understand that and apply that to all things in your life, you're going to find success. So I'm not worried about him, whatever he does.
Absolutely. Yeah. I've been married to, uh-oh, 29, coming up on 29 years. And so, yeah,
Nice.
there's a, it is a lot of work. And,
Yeah.
most of the work is when nobody's looking, right? And,
So,
it's not the it's not your best Facebook life, it's
right.
the
Yeah.
grind in between all the glory. Um,
Absolutely.
Parker, um, for somebody who doesn't know, this is the first time they're being exposed to what you do. What's the one thing you want people to know about you?
I want to know about me. Let's take you on.
I know what I would like you to say, but you need to answer that yourself.
Yeah,
Like if I told you I'm gonna put you in front of a camera and you have 30 seconds to tell the world about Parker Stewart, what would you want to say?
uh, like, I'm not just some kid that lines up at the start of a 5K, like trying to get do the first half mile, like as fast as I can. Like I'm not there to do far. I'm there to try to set state records and world records.
You mean business.
Yeah.
That was that what you were going to say?
He
You said
means
you know what you would
business.
say.
No, I mean, if I were I think if there's a reason Parker struggles in team sports. We do play football. We enjoy that a lot. Um, but as far as baseball, basketball, even football, soccer, all the other team sports that kids are involved in, it's late in the game when everybody else is tired. Whether you're winning or losing, they slow down a little bit. And when Parker's teammates slow down, he loses his mind. Not he doesn't lose his mind, but he it bothers him. He tries to motivate his teammates, but I've never seen another kid who can match his effort, especially late in the game. His endurance is insane because of his training, and he's built himself up to that. But it's really really hard to find another kid who can match his effort. And I think that's a big thing why Parker finds success in all of the sports that he does is because of his effort. That's what it comes down to. There's probably a kid out there that's stronger than him. There's a kid that's faster. There's a kid that's smarter. There's Parker's not the best in the world at everything, but if I had to choose one thing that I think he might possibly be the best in the world at, and that is effort for a 9-year old. You have to see it to believe it. I sound like an overly proud father saying it on a podcast, but if you see it, you'll understand. And the other people
It's
that have
on.
seen
Listen, it's on tape. It's on video. I mean, you're not just bragging on your kid at this point. It's out there for the world to see. We'll have some of it on this, but I mean, the results are there. Um,
yeah,
and I think that yeah, it is, and that's the hardest thing for Jake at times. It has been because he's out there shooting right now. We built a concrete thing and hoop in the backyard because he puts up 1,500 shots a day and
that's
2,000 shots
awesome.
a day, and that can be the hardest thing sometimes is to uh, understand that you can't that other kids aren't doing that,
Hmm.
and other kids are going to be tired at the end of games, and other kids aren't going to want to train with you or do the level of training that you do. um and yeah, that's I can certainly understand that in terms of the team sports.
Yeah,
It's
it's been
yeah, it's you know, I guess the older you get, and you know this, Doug. I mean, there is a thrill for sure in terms of bringing others up, rising others up with your efforts. But uh, I certainly at his age, I mean, he's putting in world class level training. Um, where do you get any of that? I mean, just locally, do you hear that noise a lot, Doug? In terms of just let him be a kid.
oh yeah, oh yeah. So for a while there, and of course on social media, when people are protected by their keyboard and they say all kinds of things, and everybody has their opinions about. I get accused a lot of pushing my kid too far, and it makes me laugh because anybody who says that clearly has never met my son. It's quite the opposite. Uh, I mentioned earlier that I limit his running to 2 days a week. That is an active, ongoing effort. If it were up to him, he'd be running every single day. I have to physically limit what he does. Like I've made Facebook posts about, I wish my kid would just play video games. Like it's just trying to keep up with him as a full time job to manage his schedule and take him to all these places for training and competitions. It is a full time job. So no, I'm not forcing my kid to do any of these things. It is 100% him. We were out on a run in Bluffton. Parker wanted to every Monday morning he wanted to go do a max effort 1 mile run. I can't run as fast as him. So I follow him on the golf cart and I pace him and let him know how he's doing. And I was on the golf cart. Parker was actually running behind me, and a woman pulled up next to me to stop me and ask me if my son was okay. They thought that maybe I was punishing him and forcing him to chase me on the golf cart or something like that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And I think that was the first post that I made on the Bluffton Hilton Head Ask Answer page. And it was kind of like a letter to that woman, like, yes, he's okay. No, I'm not pushing him too hard. This is what we're doing, and this is why. I didn't want her to judge me. Um, but yeah, I get that. I get that a lot. People don't believe that a 9-year-old could be as devoted as he is, but it 100% has nothing to do with me. Like, yes, I will take him to these events, the training, the races, but I do not force him. I actually have to force him to take days off when I think he's training too hard or he's not feeling well.
I'll be honest, guys. I wanted to reach out to you when when you were 6, Parker, um, and do an article on you, but part of me did not want to put pressure on you. Did not want to put pressure on the family in terms of the promoting promoting this at a young age. What I Because I've always been into sports and I love karting, I love racing. So like I was like, oh man, look at this dude, this is crazy. um when I saw you starting to transition to into other things and the passion you were showing, um that's to be celebrated. I finally hit a point where I reached out to you this time because it's like when and I saw you. You were saying like, can we get some love? Like, can we? There's not a whole lot of media around here these days. Can we? Um, I was just like, yeah, this is to be celebrated. This is cool. I mean, it's in this age of kids living on their phones, kids just, I don't know, being a little less motivated, a little bit more entitled than past generations per se. What you
And
guys are
that's
doing is to be celebrated.
and thank you for that. And then part of the reason is, like you said, it's great when the adults see what Parker's doing and he gets that pat on the back and the attaboy. It's awesome. We appreciate the support, but it's we love when other kids see what he's doing and it gets them excited. Like, Parker has friends who don't run and they see what Parker's doing and they'll start coming to run club, or they'll sign up for a 5K. He's had friends do 5Ks with him, and just get them doing something else. I don't want to say get them off the couch, because a lot of these kids, they're not just sitting around on the couch, but they're exploring other sports, moving their body in ways that they're not used to, and it just helping them become a well-rounded athlete, and it's good. He's had a lot of people be inspired by what he does, and incentivize them to get involved as well. Adults too, but a lot of kids.
Parker, the fact that you have sat here for 53 minutes and not
It's
said,
rare.
"Can we go?" I really appreciate that. I thought we would talk for 10 minutes, but you got it's just you're fascinating, dude. Like what you're doing, it's inspiring. It's it's um invigorating. It's so cool. It's so cool to keep seeing the things that you take on, the challenges that you take on, and like I said, to see those videos where you see the expression on these guys' face, like you said, the front of that line is for competitors only, and it's like,
Yeah.
what is this? And I mean, you could even see it just from the shoes you're wearing. Like, you mean business. Like, those are top level competitive gear that you're wearing, and it's like, uh to see the expression on some of the faces, um it's it's kind of cool. It and to see you keep achieving, uh, setting new goals for yourself, and keep achieving them. It makes me proud as a Bluffton resident. Makes me proud as a dad and to see the things that you're doing. Um, what's the is there one kid out on, whether it's on the track, the kart track, uh, in the triathlon competitions, the running, is there one kid out there that you've really bonded with in terms of them putting in the amount of work, like you guys being able to bond over the work, Parker?
Um,
You always look at me when he asks you a question. He's talking to you, pal.
um,
Is there a kid that sticks out in your mind that you feel like is impressive as far as putting in the work? And
Inspires you to put more work
Luca
in?
and Linda, the two kids that are really
yeah, he
competitive.
he has a friend, Luca Ferreira. Luca is I don't even how to I don't know how many records that kid has, but I think he might be the fastest child swimmer in history. I mean, it's unbelievable. You think Parker has a lot of records in karting and running. Luca probably has 3 times that many just in swimming alone. It's like every time he gets in the pool, he's breaking a record, and it is wild. Uh, and that kid works hard. That is not a gift from God. And that kid puts in the work, and it shows, and it shows in triathlon as well. And then the other kid that he mentioned, um, John Victor Coimbras, 2-time national champion and the same age as Parker. He's very, very talented. He comes from an athletic family of triathletes, and he's coached very, very well. And the kid has the work ethic. I mean, it's wild. We're talking about children here, you know. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, they're 9 years old, but they train like professional athletes. And if you put these kids in that situation, give them opportunities and give them the means, it's wild what they're capable of, especially in karting. When I stuck my 7-year-old son in a cart that goes 70 miles an hour and watched him drive it like a grown man. I mean, it's crazy. You don't have to coddle these little boys like they're you know they are children, but it given the opportunities, it's just shocking to me what these young people are capable of, and it's fun to watch.
Is that hard for you at times, Doug, to remember that he's a kid, just with the effort that he puts in? I mean,
You know,
to
you'd
toe that
you'd think
line
so.
between competitor, fellow competitor and dad.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, in the heat of the moment, when think, especially in karting, and at least in running and triathlon, like that's a lot less stressful. But in karting, that stuff gets intense. I can't even begin to describe what the national scene in karting is like, but it is very, very competitive, and it does get stressful. And there are times that uh, you know, I just need to take a step back and remind myself, like, this is a 9-year-old boy, like, and he's amazing. But for the most part, no, he does little 9-year-old boy things that reminds me that he's 9 years old. Like, I'll give you an example, and we were in one of the biggest karting races in Parker's life. Now he handles stress very well. He doesn't really get nervous. I do. I can see my heart beating when he's on grid and we're waiting to go out on the track. When it's a big meaningful race, and I hate that part. It's my least favorite part of karting is that stress before a race. So I'm kneeling down next to him on the grid, waiting for them to tell us to start or start the engines up and go out on track. And Parker's cart like vibrates a little bit, and I was like, "What was that?" And he's just smiling through the crack in his visor and his helmet, and he said, "I farted." So, obviously not under stress. He's
A
goofing
different
off. He's
kind of vibration.
He's just being a 9-year-old boy
Yeah.
who's at the racetrack having fun. And meanwhile, I'm like, ready to have a heart attack. Like, we're on grid with 40 of the fastest kids in America, and a lot went into this. And I'm thinking about, do I have the right gear on the cart? Do I have is the weight right? Do I have the setup on the chassis right? You know, all these things going through my head, and he's making fart jokes.
I'm 51 going on 8, so yeah, yeah, I love it. I love it. And you got to live with that inside your suit there, man. When you fart like that, you got to you got to live with that smell inside your suit for the first couple of laps. um Again, I appreciate the time very much today. You've been very giving of your time here, and um, obviously you've got the Instagram on the screen. Is there anything else that, in terms of just following him, that you want to get out there for people to know?
No, that's really where I archive everything is Instagram. Things that I share on his Instagram do automatically get shared to my Facebook. But my Facebook's not super public. It's just kind of there for me to stay in touch with close friends and family. And
Yep.
um, the Parker Stewart Racing page is kind of for the masses to see at this point. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Are you guys constantly looking for sponsors? How are you on that front? I mean, are you looking for local sponsors? Are you at the point where you're more looking for national sponsors? Where's that part of the business at?
So that's a whole nother conversation. So part of what led to my retirement from racing was the lack of funding,
Yeah.
among other things, but that was part of it. Uh, as an independent race car driver, it's very, very, very time consuming, and it's like a whole job to just stay funded. Um, I retired from professional motorsports to focus on my son, and quickly found that despite him being a child, we're in the same boat. It's unbelievably expensive to compete in what he competes in. Anyway, long story short, that led to me actually developing a new program called the Future Stars Sponsorship Program. Historically, athletes would have to ask potential sponsors for donations, and I mean, let's be honest, there's no ROI. You can sponsor a football team, a basketball team, a race car driver, and they can put your logo on their gear. You're not going to get that money back. You're doing it out of the kindness of your heart.
Yeah.
It's a terrible marketing strategy, but it's still a good thing to do for the kids. So with Future Stars, rather than asking for donations, I happen to own a merchant services company as well. So we handle credit card processing for businesses all over the country. And so with Future Stars, our athletes now have a platform where they can bring sponsors on, but we take them on as credit card processing clients, and those athletes get paid every month through the profits on the credit card processing account. So the business actually saves money or eliminates their fees entirely with the cash discount program. But we basically don't ask sponsors for money anymore. We actually reduce their costs, and then the athlete gets paid.
You reduce their costs and you're getting sponsorship dollars through it. That's brilliant.
Yes. So the company doesn't make any money. It's zero. But it's a great program that I wish it was available when it was something that I could have used. And we've got kids all over the country taking advantage of it now. It's pretty awesome. I mean, everything from racing drivers to triathletes, equestrian sports, downhill skiers. We've got professional boxers. Just any sport where you need funding. It's been a game changer for Parker. He's got sponsors all over America, and sometimes it doesn't make sense for a company to be able to do that. If they're already using a system and they can't change. We have acquired sponsors the old-fashioned way. Um, Salty Britches has been a huge supporter of Parker. We're both wearing their shirt right now, but
Yep.
um, Uh, they've been fantastic. Parker's been a Salty Bridges ambassador for a couple years now. So is his coach John, and we're always making sure that we represent them well at everything that we do. But but yeah, that's the topic of sponsorship is another
It's a
probably pretty long
whole, yeah, whole
conversation.
new, whole different conversation. Um,
But it's essential. I mean,
it's important. Yeah.
if I told you what his endeavors cost, you would think that I'm absolutely insane. It's wild.
I haven't been in sports and covered sports on the national level and covered kids. I have a sense of it. You probably wouldn't blow me away as much. But as a parent, you'd blow me away for sure.
Yeah,
And I think honestly, what you do, for what we do for our kids, like that's, uh the minute I'm so driven and ambitious in my career, and I've had some big successes, but the minute my first son was born, it just the switch flipped, and it's like, you do for your kids, and I just think it's incredible what y'all are doing, to allow
sure.
Parker to live this dream.
Thank you, thank you. That means a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. Parker,
We're enjoying.
huge, huge congratulations on what you've achieved so far. I just hope you keep having fun with it, man. Like it's very clear when I see you cross the finish lines and see the smile on your face. It's very clear you're having fun with it, and you know, congratulations, and I uh, I hope I don't see you. I don't know. Have you guys had that social media conversation at all? Does Is he understanding of it at all? Does he want his own social media yet, or like?
He
You're very
doesn't care.
lucky. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have a phone. He doesn't. I mean, he likes to watch reels with me on my phone, but other than that, I mean, he's not interested in the social part of it. He's not a big fan of interviews and podcasts, which
You've
is
done amazing, dude. You've done
he's pretty
amazing.
quiet right now. But he just wants to train and he wants to compete and win. That's really what he's all about. Am I right? But this stuff comes with it. I mean, if you're going to be in the Olympics, I mean, he's talking about possibly Brisbane 2032 or Brisbane. Sorry, I always mispronounce it, but 2032. If that happens, Parker will be the youngest U.S. triathlete in Olympic history. That's a big deal. That's going to draw a lot of attention. Um, so get used to this. Get used to being interviewed. Get used to being on YouTube and social media because it's just the beginning.
I promise you, Parker, the interviews will be much shorter than this. You've done awesome. I really appreciate it. Any last words you want to get out there, Doug or Parker, before I let you go?
I don't think so. You got anything else you want to say? No. Thank you for your time and helping us. Show our local people here what's going on in Bluffton. I mean, you go on social media, you see a lot of complaining about the traffic.
Yeah.
Like let's see more stuff like this. What are the other kids doing? I want to see more things like this on our local
Honestly, I mean,
channels.
that's my goal with this. That's my goal with just anything we're doing with the media right now, is just, I'm really tired of media in general. And that's coming from somebody that wanted to be a writer when he was 8, when I was 8, and started like my first newspaper when I was 8 with my sister. I'm really, really tired of what media is right now, and this is what media should be: is getting good news out, and highlighting the successes and the accomplishments of our community. So, anything I can do, um, on that front for you guys, please, use me. We'll get the word
Thank you.
out, and we're really,
Thank
really
you.
proud of you. And huge thank you
If,
for joining us on Lowcountry Chronicle.
if there are any other kids out there who think, running might be something that they'd enjoy. The run club that I mentioned that Parker goes to every Tuesday and Thursday, that they meet at 5:30 and it's free. I mean, if my daughter goes as well, she's not breaking state records, but she's trying to get involved and better herself, and she enjoys it a lot. It doesn't matter how fast or slow you are. You got people that run 4-minute miles and people that run 10-minute miles.
Where do they meet at?
So they used to meet behind Pulsology in the parking lot, but now they actually meet the corner of, I don't know the name of that street, is Peacock Cabinetry right there over by Pulsology. It's just
Right,
across
right.
the street.
Okay.
So they meet
Awesome.
in the parking lot, or get a hold of us on social media or John Duberly, and we can give you specific details. But it's a great group of people who help motivate each other, and just trying to be better.
Awesome. Doug, Parker, huge thank you and congratulations on all you're doing. And obviously, we'll be
Thank you.
following you throughout
Thank you.
throughout the spring and the summer here.
Great. Thanks, Tim. We appreciate you.
You got it. Okay, so that may go down in history as the longest interview ever with a 9-year-old. Um, Obviously, Doug, his father, talking a lot of the time. Um, so impressed. So impressed with what the family's done. So impressed with what he was doing in karting alone. And now he's doing this with running. He's doing this with triathlons. It's incredible. And we're so thankful that they joined us for this interview. Listen, not all the interviews, not all the episodes are going to be 2 hours. I don't want to put a time limit on it. Okay, I know some people are like, do it for 20 minutes, and um, I can cut up the interviews and make clips out of them. I'm not doing this for clicks. We're doing this to get out the word about good things in the community. So if you've got something good that you want to get out there, let us know. Okay? Follow us on the Lowcountry Chronicle page. DM me. We're looking, my goal is to have an interview with every episode of the podcast. We've got a bunch of interviews in the queue that we're going to share with you, that I'm really excited about. A bunch more lined up, but we always want to be current. And if there's cool stuff going on, we want to get that out there and share this. The idea of Chronicle is to chronicle history, okay, and to chronicle things that are going on in the community. That's what we want to achieve with this podcast, with this broadcast, okay? So, and it's an interesting day that I put this out there because uh, I'm not gonna put this up on your podcast players right away. This is just gonna be for my Facebook and what's happening in Bluffton for probably the next 8 hours because I'm I've got my other son waiting. We're hitting the road for a 6 hour round trip to go see Jake play basketball with HHCA tonight up at Camden Military Academy. So we got to hit the road here pretty quick. So um, that's the show for today. Huge thank you to everyone. Huge thank you to the Stewarts. Huge thank you to and I haven't really thanked them properly enough, but huge thank you to Dave Lavery, who made the graphic that you're about to see as we finish the podcast. Huge thank you to Jevin Daly for allowing me to have the May River Thing song as part of the intro and outro. We're huge fans of Jevin and will always be. And so huge thanks to Dave Lave and to Jevin. Huge thanks to you. Okay. Follow us on Facebook, Lowcountry Chronicle. Again, check out the podcast where any of your podcasts are available. Spotify, Amazon, wherever you listen, Apple, wherever you listen, iHeartRadio, all of them, they'll be there. And then check out our YouTube channel. This broadcast will be. We had some difficulty in the middle. Um, So as I was playing the broadcast, I was actually editing some of that. We had some issues with some of the videos that I wanted to put into the video initially. So as we're doing that, I'm actually editing the videos to get them into the broadcast. So that's why there was a little hiccup in the beginning. I'll edit that after the fact here. I apologize to Doug and Parker in terms of if but the finished product that we'll put out there on YouTube and on the podcast will be clean. Okay. Have a great day. Like I said, it's a good day to have a good day. Okay. Be kind to each other. Be respectful of each other, and we will see you next time on Lowcountry Chronicle. My pleasure to be with you. My name's Tim Wood, and we will see you next time and talk to you next time on Lowcountry Chronicle.
It's a May River thing.